Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan. Marhaban. Welcome, guys. Hope you guys are fine. So, unfortunately, when I started this live stream, I didn't put the settings on 1080p. So, unfortunately, today it's not 1080p. Today it's just normal. So, let's see what kind of background nice. So, how's everyone? Everyone well? Everyone enjoying everyone enjoying their Thursday? Oh, sorry, Friday. Thursday, Friday. Everyone enjoying their Fridays. So yeah, so the settings, basically what I have to do is I have to normally put the setting on 1080p beforehand, and I just totally forgot today. Ahla wa sahla wa alaikum assalam, Masir Ali. Alhamdulillah, ahla wa sahla. Crypto M, how were the full stops ta'ain in the Quran introduced? Because the Quran was not written at the beginning. So yeah, so these were later on. Even the Fatha, Dhamma, Kasra on the Quran, they were all introduced later on. I don't exactly know the exact dates of how everything was introduced, but yeah, it's all basically like historically it was added on just to make it easy for people. Yeah, so it was like what was starting to happen was, because the Quran was being passed down, it was passed down orally. People kind of knew where to stop, and then as time went by, it just, for a lot of people, it just became difficult, and they just thought it makes sense just to add these markings there. It's like in English, basically. So in English, if you think about it, commas, full stops, these kind of things, you don't really need it. If someone's really good at English, they can figure out what you're saying. But then it's for those people whose English is not very good that you'd have to add commas and full stops and different sort of marks of pronunciation in order to be able to like understand it, where to stop. Masir Ali, do you like the soul of Tazkiyah? I like it, but it's part of the deen. Purifying the nafs is part of the deen, Masir. So yeah, I like it. Wa alaikum assalam, holy rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wa alaikum assalam. Not really, my living conditions getting worse. May Allah make things easier for you. Muhammad, ahla wa sahlan. Look, cooking fresh. You mean looking fresh? What's cooking? Oh, what's cooking? Fresh looking. Mullah, wa alaikum assalam. Ahla wa sahlan. So, hope you guys are enjoying your Friday, your Jum'ah. With me, mashallah, it's going well. Alhamdulillah. Just had my morning session, and now it's the live session with you. And by the way, the cat has had kittens again. Yeah, so Catty has had kittens again, and I just went actually to see the kittens, and mashallah, very nice and cute. At the moment, the eyes are still shut, but inshallah, when they start to grow bigger, inshallah, I'll take some more pictures. I'll put some pictures up today on my Twitter, if you guys have seen that, and I'll try to put some up on the YouTube, inshallah. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Amina, ahla wa sahlan, Juma Mubarak. Pauline, are we as Muslims allowed to grow a garden? Of course, definitely. Someone told me it's a waste. I did research. Everyone gets charity from the fruits. Definitely. It's totally permissible to have a garden. Definitely. What was for lunch today? For lunch today, dal and rice. I normally don't have lunch, but today I did have some lunch. Time for Leah the K. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Actually, you know what? Let me see if I can show you guys. Let me see if I can show you guys some pictures. Let's see if I can bring some up on here. You guys can enjoy looking at cat. All right, so okay, how do I download these? Okay, I can't seem to download. Don't know why. For some reason. Let me see. How do you bring these pictures up? I don't know how it works. Yeah, okay, I'll try to get the picture sorted, inshallah, and then I'm going to show you guys. Well, they're quite cute. This time they're really cute. Okay. We need to keep in mind to waste water when watering plants outside. Yeah, no, I think that's a misconception that you've got there, Pauline. So it's fine to water the plants. Yeah, totally permissible. Wa alaikum assalam, Sufyan. Ahla wa sahlan. Ahla wa sahlan. Welcome, Sufyan. Sufyan got some apple tea today. Yeah. Although it's not in 1080p, I do apologize, guys. I did promise that it's going to be 1080p, but today I didn't put the 1080p setting on. So unfortunately, I have to put the 1080p setting on before I press live stream. I was going to end the live stream and start a new one. Then I thought, you know what? People are already going to receive the notification. Then it's just headache. Classical madrasa meal. Classic madrasa meal. Oh, now madrasa, we had all sorts. But we used to cook a lot. That was the thing. Yeah, madrasa, we used to cook a lot because the madrasa food was a bit difficult on the stomach for foreigners. Foreigners found it quite hard. I had the same dal chawal today. That's the way, bro. Let's put it up here. Oh, yeah. Dal chawal today. Yes. Are we allowed to horse it for pleasure? To have horses? Yes, you can have horses. Totally permissible. Can you swear on the Quran but Quduri refutes it? Can you swear on the Quran but Quduri refutes it? So what? So I got to see the text. But what it most likely means is on the Quran book itself. But the Quran, as in the speech of Allah, is fine. What are Muslim women is good for only to make bay? Okay. All right. Pathans eat dal too. That's it, man. That's it. Firstly, I love your style of teaching. May Allah accept your deeds. Ameen. Jazakallah khair, Ibrahim. Ahla wa sahlan. Ahla wa sahlan. Welcome. Welcome. Jazakumullah khair for that. Put that up there. We saw pictures on social media, mashallah. They're adorable. Lambi umrah. No, that's not the dua my mom says. No biryani on Fridays. No. Madrasa. I mean, in madrasa, I used to usually on Fridays I used to eat, and sometimes in the afternoon they used to have biryani, not all the time. Yeah, sometimes they used to have it. Wa alaikum assalam, Eskhan. Ahlan wa sahlan. Ahlan wa sahlan. Marhaban. I'm very good. Thank you very much, Eskhan. Ahlan wa sahlan. Ahlan wa sahlan. How are you? I follow the Shafi madhab, but I sadly learn from books because I don't know any Shafi teachers in UK. And if I am told of some, they are extremely hard to get in touch with. Okay, yeah. That's quite a common problem with studying from like a particular madhab, especially when you're living in an area where you can't find that. What tastes really good? Dal, rice, and keema. Oh yeah, dal, rice, and keema, bro. Yeah, that's a good one. I like the combination there. Very vivid. Nice colors there. Nice taste. Sindhi biryani is the best. Yes, good. Hyderabadi biryani is very nice. I don't know if it's the best. I haven't tasted many biryanis, so I wouldn't be able to tell you which one's the best. But yeah. So anyway, guess what I got this week, guys? I got GoPro. Yeah. This week I got GoPro. So you know what's gonna happen with the GoPro? So I've been testing it out. Yeah. Got my GoPro. It comes with this case. It's a GoPro 9. Right, so this is the GoPro 9, guys. GoPro 9. So hopefully, inshallah, I'm going to be recording my biking, inshallah. And you guys will be able to see some of the routes that I take and how I ride. Inshallah, hopefully I'll ride good, so I don't let you guys down. Yeah. So bikes journey. Only problem is there's things I didn't realize about GoPros. Then I started learning more about them. So they basically, when you record, they record in chunks. So when you're recording, they'll record a whole session, but it'll break it down in recording into chunks. Yeah, it's about 11-minute chunks. So you got to stitch them all together. So that's the only one headache. But otherwise, besides that, inshallah, I'm looking forward to recording them for you guys and showing you guys, yeah, how I ride, guys, how I ride. Hopefully, I won't fall down. I'll have to edit that out. Muradabadi biryani. Okay, Muradabad biryani. What is that? I'll put down here. Muradabad. What's so special about Murada? Like, what did they have in there that makes it so unique? Tell me. Gujarati, Baruchi, dal, chawal. Yeah, I agree with you. Definitely. I don't know about whether Surati and Baruchi have a different style, but dal chawal, I mean, dal chawal with meat in there. The one with the meat in there, yeah. Is that the one with the meat in there? Better have the meat. Bike journey vlogs, let's go. That's it, man. I'm just thinking I've opened another YouTube channel, right? And I might just do it on there, inshallah. I'm thinking I'll probably do it on there, and then I'll upload my vlogs onto there more. So I think I want to separate the educational videos from my own sort of like personal. What do you guys think about that? My mamu got married into a Pathan family from Karachi this week, mashallah. So since you're Pathan too, that means we are not. Allahu Akbar. That's it. Yes. That's it now. Pakistan is connected with Imran Khan. Everyone in Pakistan now is related to a Pathan somehow. So we are dominating. We are getting everywhere now around the world. How much does it cost? It costs about I think it's about £400. Yeah, with the whole kit. Are you going to GoPro your bike rides, make vlogs? Yes, inshallah. I don't know about Nasiha, because you're riding and the wind is blowing. I don't know if you can pick up sound that easily. That's the problem. Do you know how I can learn Urdu without a teacher? Not too sure, man. Not too sure. Probably try watching YouTube videos. There's lots of YouTube tutorials on learning Urdu. Rahmatullah. Alaikum assalam. My question is basically, okay, with all DSLR cameras, it's the same. After recording for around 10 minutes, it stops and you have to press. Yeah, I've seen that one. So my camera is a mirrorless camera. So actually, the reason why I bought my camera, Sony a6400, was because they don't have this problem in there. They don't have the 25-minute feature. So normal cameras, so that they don't basically fall under the ruling of a video recorder. Because if they fall under a video recorder, then they have to be taxed in a different way. Yeah, so that's the problem. So I don't know how they did it in the A6400, but there's no time limit on how long you record for. So that's a good thing about that. So I'm hoping to study Hanafi and Hanbali fiqh, as they seem to be everywhere in regards to studying fiqh. I've noticed that there seems to be a big split in the Hanbali fiqh. Many are leaving this idea and going back to more classical Hanbali views. I just don't like how they go about as if their madhab is more accurate than others. I'm sure you've experienced this advice. Yeah, definitely. I've seen this in. What I would say is, look, the Hanbali madhab, yeah, from my own sort of like experience, understanding, is that Hanbali madhab, there is a Hanbali madhab that's been running from the early years, which has been focused on the Mu'tamad madhab, position of the madhab. Then there's been like sort of like a modern approach in the Hanbali madhab, where it's been quite influenced by certain later individuals in the Hanbali madhab, where the opinions that are taken are more of a sort of like a selected way of taking the position. Yeah, so people are taking the positions by way of selection. So they're kind of like choosing which opinion they want to take without relying on the principles that determines the official position. So this is why, I mean, you in any madhab, you want to stay safe. You want to stay with the opinion of those who are knowledgeable. Yeah. So what I would say, so I don't worry about that at the moment. First of all, study the Hanbali madhab, and then as you're going to go along, you're going to learn more about how the Hanbali madhab works. Yeah, so you don't have to worry too much about which opinions you're going to be taking. Just follow the Hanbali madhab according to what you are studying, and inshallah you'll be fine. That's the same with any madhab. So when you have a particular madhab, it's all about studying the madhab, understanding the madhab, and then after that, once you go past that, you come across so you come across sort of opinions which might diverge from the mainstream, but then you realize why they're saying that for, and is it valid? Is it a valid divergence or not? That's what you wanna sort of figure out. Okay, mashallah, mashallah, rahmatullah, assalamu alaikum. My question is basically, Hanafi scholars follow in Aqidah Ash'ari? No, not necessarily. I mean, Hanafi fiqh has nothing to do with Aqidah. So remember that. So if there are, for example, in the Hanafi madhab, you have Mu'tazila. So there were a lot of Mu'tazila in the Hanafi madhab in the early years. There was early understanding of Aqidah, the Salaf, and then you had the appearance of the Ash'ari, Maturidi schools. So Hanafi has nothing to do with Aqidah. It's got more to do with law, like legal rulings. The Aqidah is a separate thing. It's like saying, for example, Hanafis drive Volvos. Hanafis drive Volvos. So Volvo's got nothing to do with Hanafi madhab. It's just coincidentally, maybe Hanafis are driving Volvos. How do the Hanafi scholars of the subcontinent and Hanafi scholars of the Arab world differ? They don't differ much. There's kind of virtually the same thing, really. Yeah, it's not really much. Subcontinent Hanafis focus a lot on hadith, right? So they kind of use a lot of hadith tarjih. Yeah, you get that in Indian subcontinent Hanafis. Whereas the Arab Hanafis, they don't focus on the hadith. They focus on the tradition itself, what's been reported in the Hanafi madhab itself. And that's something you actually study. Like Dr. Salah al-Hajj has actually got a good section on this in his Muqaddimah of Maraqi al-Falah. So he talks about this idea of this split or this change. They call it the Ibn Humam influence. Wa alaikum assalam from those. Ahla wa sahlan. Welcome, mashallah. Hope you're well. When you come to the US, you must visit California. Big person. Yeah, I've got relatives there. I've got relatives in California. Yeah. So inshallah, I'll come there. I'll definitely have to come there. Randomly, ahla wa sahlan wa alaikum assalam. I'm very well. Thank you very much for asking. Very well. Yes, with me, even Surdis admit to Baruch's version being the best. That's the one. That's the one. Okay, Sufyan, you have convinced me enough. That thobe looks graceful, comfy, mashallah. Yeah, nice and comfortable. This is actually made in Medina. Yeah, so it's made in Medina. If that gives it any more sort of points. But yeah, it's comfortable. So it's nice. I would like to have been a bit wide at the bottom, but khair anyway. Valdia, ahla wa sahlan, mashallah. Valdia, ahla wa sahlan. Jazakumullah khair. Can you guys start the 3 Dates podcast again? Yeah, I know, man. You need to convince Altaf and Naveed to start it again. Definitely. Patan, Mufti Saeed, BD3 from Bradford is the legend. You must meet. Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. We were in the same madrasa. Yeah, we were in the same madrasa. Yeah. Alhamdulillah. Zubair, wa alaikum assalam, ahla wa sahlan. Please mention how to become fluent in Arabic speaking as well as writing. What I would say is watch our Arabic podcasts. The main thing is speaking. You have to speak to someone. Get in contact with someone maybe who speaks Arabic and just regularly try to have a conversation with them. That is the ultimate thing. Okay. My question basically, Hanafi scholars follow in Aqidah, Ash'ari and Maturidi school of thought, but Salafis say they are not Ahlus Sunnah. Okay. Saqib, wa alaikum assalam, ahla wa sahlan. Muradabai biryani, strong flavor of green chilies. Oh yes. This biryani is dubbed to have its roots in the cuisine of Lucknow. Oh yes, that's it. One more point. Come on. It is generally prepared where raw chicken meat is cooked along with the. Okay. So it's not cooked separately and then you mix the rice together. All right. And do they put it on the like? Do they seed it up and cook it? Mu'eed, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. I took discount shares with my company, a construction company, which they offered me about 4 years ago. Will I be able to take back all the money when the 4-year term ends? Is it haram? So exactly, I don't exactly know what you're talking about in the sense that how does the contract exactly work? But if you get a guaranteed return, you get a guaranteed return of your capital, that's not allowed. That would be riba, interest. But if you don't get a guaranteed return, if you basically get a return of whatever your shares are worth at the end, then that's permissible. During khutbah, do we have to fold our hands like in the first sitting and then sit in the tahiyyat? No. That's nowhere in the Hanafi madhab. No, not at all. What's up with the live comments on the screen? Seems out of sync. Is it out of sync? Should be fine. When I was a revert, I was eager to learn. Sisters cut my eagerness to lean. I don't want to study. I gave up. I pray to Allah for help. I depressed. I cannot find happiness. It's lost help. May Allah make things easier for you. My advice would be to try to get in contact with some more reverts. Try to get in contact with reverts, and that is the best thing for you, inshallah. They will be able to help you. People who have more experience, inshallah, they should be able to give you some guidance as well on how to go about it. It's a difficult thing with reverts. I mean, people who are born Muslims, they can't understand a lot of the times the difficulties that reverts actually go through. So my advice would be find some reverts who are have been reverts for a while, and they should be able to, inshallah, help you out. How did you guys end up in England and Sam? I don't know. I have no idea. Well, basically, my granddad came to the UK in the 60s. And my granddad's brother, he actually went to later on, a few decades later, he actually went to America. I think he was working on a ship or something, and then he somehow managed to get to America, and then America he got a green card. I have no idea exactly the details, but that's how they got there. Sheikh, is it permissible to kill someone in self-defense, like if they're carrying knife or guns and threatening you? Yes, it'd be permissible. How was Jummah today? Very nice, thank you very much. Can you do a video on how to do Jummah? How to do Jummah? I mean, have you watched my Kuduri videos? S. Hussein, wa alaikum assalam. Ahlan wa sahlan, mashallah. S. Hussein, hope you're well. May Allah bless you. Ameen. Yeah, so like I mentioned in the beginning, guys, the live stream, it's not at 1080p, unfortunately, and the reason for that is basically because I didn't press the button. Simple as that. I have not pressed the button, and inshallah I will be pressing the button in alhamdulillah, I'll be pressing the button inshallah tomorrow. So inshallah, hopefully you're gonna have 1080p quality. Right, unfortunately at the moment it's not 1080p quality. Ustad, would growing hair too long be imitating women? It depends which, like, if it's in a society that only women have that long hair and it's not normal for men to have that long hair, then it would be considered imitating. But if it's in a society where men have long hair as well, then it would be permissible. It wouldn't fall under imitation. Al-Haq Productions, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah, ahlan wa sahlan. Do you like Nahu more or Sarf more? I don't know. I mean, I think I like Nahu more because with Nahu, with Sarf, you're limited. Right? You're kind of like limited of the number of rules and that. And Nahu is more like mathematical, mental. And I like that kind of thing. Yeah, so I like kind of like investigating, trying to break down sentences, looking at different possibilities. In Sarf, you're kind of limited. If there's a rule, there's only really one rule. You don't really have too much ikhtilaf in there. What do you like, Masir? That's the question. Abdullah L. will you teach other books after Quduri with Arab, vocabs, explanation? I don't know. I mean, if it's like if I'm gonna do like in a more advanced fiqh book like Hidayah, I won't do Arab. Yeah, I just kind of like do the tarkib with Quduri because it's more sort of like usually taught to learners. People are learning Arabic, and that's why I kind of focus on that. But otherwise, I don't think there should be. I don't think there should be like a trend in students that they need to do the Arab of all books. Otherwise, what that does is that sort of like impedes on their understanding of the kitab. Yeah, so it's it's one of those kind of things. And I know some students they think they need to do the Arab of every book, even Bukhari, which is not necessary. You don't have to, you don't have to do it there. You just have to understand the text. Ideally, if I could teach, like when I teach Quduri to the students that I teach full time. So at the moment we're like almost near the end of it. So we've reached like near the end of the where we reached. We've done the chapter of we're gonna reach the chapter of Wala, and so that means we've covered. You can almost say three quarters of the book. And so when I teach it, I don't go into I'rab, Tarkib, nothing like that. Just now and again, maybe just to test the students whether they have prepared the lesson properly. But otherwise, usually it's just explanation. So I just explain the text. The students read the text, they translate it to me, and then I ask them if they've understood it. And then if they've understood it, maybe move on. Or maybe if there's something that requires a little bit of elaboration, I'll talk about that. Because I think what tends to happen in people studying in madrasa is they become dumbed down too much. I've seen that in a lot of madrasas. There's like this system of dumbing down where teachers are teaching the book and they're translating for the student and they're doing the Arab for the student. There's no point in that. The aim is the teacher should, like, the aim of a teacher is basically that the meaning of the text should be given to the student which he can't get himself. That's the point of a teacher. The point of a teacher is, so for example, like if there's a book which requires like clarification on a particular line or translation, the teacher must explain that. And likewise, if there's required an in-depth sort of like understanding of what the author is saying, that's what a teacher's for. Otherwise, there's no point of having a teacher if the teacher's going to translate everything for you and not really give you that skill. May Allah bless you, watch over you and your bike journey. Ameen, Ameen, Pauline. Thank you very much, sister. I'm more interested in sarf, but mu'tal. Yeah, mu'tal. I'm supposed to be doing naqis, as you guys have probably seen in my sarf videos. Supposed to be naqis, but I've see when I'm teaching something, like to you guys, I have to think about it thoroughly because I want to explain it in the most easiest way to understand. So that way it makes me kind of think, like I have to read books and I have to check, and then I think to myself, why didn't the guy who wrote this book, why didn't he write it in this manner? So when I teach you guys something and I go back to some books that have been written in today's times, I find a lot of things which I think are just, the author could have just mentioned this in a particular way, or he could have given some good examples. And so it's very interesting for me as well, because when I'm learning, I'm also understanding of how authors are writing their books and like where I fit in. So if that makes sense. But inshallah, that's why I'm going to do naqis, but it's just that I've kind of structured it in such a way I want to make it like easily understandable, with examples being accurate examples. Is ifta hard? Ifta is all about how much you understand an Arabic text and how much you understand fiqh. That's what it's all about. If you are not good at fiqh, do not do ifta. First of all, make yourself strong in fiqh. Make sure you can understand fiqh and usul fiqh solid, and then do ifta. Don't just jump into ifta. Otherwise, your ifta is simply going to be a waste of time. That's my advice. What happens if a sister threatens you if you decide to move out? She scares me. I was giving her a lot of rent. Just find another place. My sister, I would say, find another place. Find a safer place. You don't have to live under threat. Would it be okay for a non-mahram to visit an elderly family member if she is in iddah? Would it be okay for a non-mahram to visit? I don't understand. Or are you talking about just a lady? Are you asking, would it be okay for a lady to visit, a lady who's in iddah, to visit an elderly family member? جاسود أهلا وسهلا وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا وسهلا أهلا وسهلا. يرحمكم الله جميعا. I've opened an Instagram account which has motivational Islamic reminders. MashaAllah. Any advice for studying Samt al-Usul? I haven't. I mean, I've read. I've kind of like scanned through Samt al-Usul. It's a good book, definitely. If you study Usul al-Shashi, then it's very easy. Yeah, it's not like a. It's not a very sort of like, it wouldn't be a book that would give you a very deep insight into. The books that would give you a very deep insight would be something like Mat al-Manar, the main sort of mutuns and works, the early works. But yeah, just what I would say is, when you're studying Samt al-Usul, I think Sheikh Faraz Rabbani is doing a commentary on it, if I remember properly. I think he's doing a commentary. I saw an advertisement for it. So check that. It must be very good. He must be doing a good explanation. So treat the book as a basic book. Just understand the concept and the examples with it. Clarification: a non-mahram man to visit his auntie-in-law, yeah, that's permissible. Yeah, that would be permissible. Inshallah, that would be permissible. Because obviously, she's elderly, and elderly having that it's fine. Because the scholars, they allow, for example, like if someone is elderly, because the idea is the fear of sort of it leading to something which is haram, like a haram interaction, intimacy, etc. There's not going to be that fear there. What's the place of Shashi in the field of Usul al-Fiqh? I don't fully know why we study it, and I lack understanding of the text. Okay, you know what? Then in that case, what you need to study, you need to study some Usul beforehand. Have you studied? What you need to do is you need to study my 28 lessons of Usul al-Fiqh. Yeah, so in there I give a full overview of what fiqh is about, what Usul al-Fiqh is about, the concepts, examples, so you understand it. Usul al-Shashi, the point of Usul al-Shashi is two things. Number one, you're learning Usul, and number two is you're seeing how the author traces back examples to like Masail in Imam Muhammad's works. That's what you want to do. So for example, like let's say you're discussing the topic of hatta. So he'll mention, for example, like hatta comes for three meanings. The original meaning that it comes for is ghaya, and then it comes with the meaning of likay, in order, and then third it comes for the meaning of and then he brings examples. He says Imam Muhammad says in Jami' al-Saghir, and he brings an example. So what the ultimate thing that you want to sort of like achieve in usul fiqh is you want to be able to understand where the usul fiqh, how honest is the usul fiqh with the Hanafi text, the earliest Hanafi texts. How honest is it? That's what you want to do. So at the end of studying usul fiqh, like Usul al-Shashi, Sarakhsi, Jassas, you get an idea of this usul fiqh that has been, post codified. You understand, okay, I understand how the texts are supposed to be read, like where they get their examples from, and how did Imam Muhammad know the concept of khas and am, mushtarak and mu'awwal, and so forth. That's what you want to do. Wa iyyakum, you're welcome, Yasin. Ahlan wa sahlan. I actually am studying Samt al-Usul under Sheikh Faraz. Excellent. That's a very, mashallah, Mufti Faraz Rabbani is a very good, capable scholar, mashallah. Alhamdulillah. Muhammad Koyesmiya, alaykum assalam, ahlan wa sahlan, ahlan wa sahlan. I wanted to write an essay regarding the requirement of two witnesses in nikah. Any tips, ideas would be appreciated. What you can do is just maybe look into the chapters of nikah and take it. Are you looking at a specific madhab, or are you looking at just overall different madhabs, what they say? Your usul fiqh. Jazakallah khair. Jazakallah khair, Ibrahim. Ahlan wa sahlan. MashaAllah. Jazakallah khair. Yeah, so if any of you guys haven't seen, I've done a crash course on Usul Fiqh. So you can check that out, inshallah. I'm supposed to do a part 2, but I've just been a bit so tied up doing other things. But inshallah, I'm trying to think of like new ideas, new ways of trying to present like information which is difficult to access for the average student. I'm trying to find like ways of being able to. Okay. Ustad, do you have fish and chips? Of course. Why not? Of course. How can I not have it and live in Birmingham? What tea are you having? So this is apple tea from Turkey. Apple tea from Turkey. MashaAllah. Thank you. Thanks to my favorite, or one of my favorite. Before I say my favorite, let's say one of my favorites, Sufyan. Your Usul Fiqh class is so well presented. I became a patron. Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much. MashaAllah. Thank you very much for becoming a patron, supporting my channel. Really appreciate it. It means a lot to me because it helps me being able to produce better content, good content, take out time. So alhamdulillah, jazakallah khair. May Allah reward you immensely. Yasin, ahla wa sahla wa alaikum assalam. Ya habibana, Yasin. How's Cape Town? I'm jealous, bro. I'm jealous of the nice weather you guys have over there. The concept of the tatabu' rukhas is differed upon and allowed by some. How do you deal with practically? So from the Hanafi point of view, tatabu' rukhas is basically where a person is deliberately going out of his way to find the most easiest of fatwas that were given historically by scholars. And so generally this is considered to be a frowned upon thing. And the scholars throughout history have said that anyone who seeks tatabu' rukhas is paving his way towards deviance. Because ultimately what happens is a person loses this concept of like honest, true submission to Allah. So honest, true submission to Allah is done by you directly submitting yourself to Allah, or you're doing it through someone who you rely upon, where you're relying on someone's knowledge, their understanding, and then you do it in that fashion. Yeah, so that's basically what Islam is all about. It's about submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, if you're going to go around and you're going to say, well, I don't really care about the deen that much, I'm just going to follow whichever easiest opinion. The problem with that is it leads to a mentality that you only want to submit to Allah according to your conditions, and that's where the problem arises. That's why the scholars say it's a very big problem, very big issue. Salam, can we congratulate Christians for Christmas? When Christmas comes, inshallah, I'll answer that question. زبير أحمد شيخ شكرا أخونا لياقت زمان، ويسرني أني رأيت بك من خلال هذا البث الطيب زميلك زبير أحمد من الشارقة. أهلا وسهلا، مرحبا. ما شاء الله ما شاء الله زبير، ما شاء الله. نعم، كيف أنت وكيف إخوتك أيضا؟ نعم ما شاء الله، أهلا وسهلا. وكيف لا أدري تذكرته، أمين، محمد أمين، كيف هو؟ ما شاء الله، أهلا وسهلا، مرحبا بكم، مرحبا. Do you نور الإيضاح؟ السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. كيف حالكم شريف؟ Do you نور الإيضاح? Do I نور الإيضاح? Do I teach it? You mean? No, I currently am not teaching it. Many people don't have fish and chip because apparently people cook it in the same oil as bacon and stuff. Oh, it depends. Obviously, it depends which takeaway you get it from. If it's a halal takeaway, then it's fine. Yeah, halal takeaway. Bro, Sakib, I hope you're not eating like in Tom's fish and chips shop. Yeah, you better not eating in Tom's or what other ones are there? Yeah, so that's basically what I do. And like I said, I've got my GoPro. Inshallah. I'm going to be making some recording and try to make some recording this week, inshallah. So hopefully maybe tomorrow or Sunday I'm going to be going bike riding. And I'm going to try to see how to clip it onto the mic as well. Because I was looking at some tutorials and some of the tutorials are like really long. Yeah, and really, really, headache tutorials. Because some of these guys do it as a profession. they cycle and then they record it and then they edit it, and then so I don't want to end up having to do loads of these. But yeah, we'll see, inshallah. In Stoke, there isn't any Muslims who own fish and chip shops, so we have to. Oh, ya Allah, inna lillah, inna Tom's. Which one do you go to? What's it called? Is it called like Tom's or something? Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Yeah, so that's been my week, guys. That's been my week. I've been back. So because schools have opened again and madrasas have opened again, so I've been back on site. No more online teaching, and it feels good. It feels good being on site, seeing the students teaching. Very good, nice feeling. And I think being cooped up at home for too long and being in front of the screen always, it's a big headache. I think it's very sort of like taxing on the mind as well. Taxing on the mind, taxing on your sort of like motivation. Because I don't know what you guys think. Will you tell me what you guys think here? But face to face, I think it creates a lot of creativity in the students and the teacher. Yeah, I think that's one of the very important things that we miss out on online. So online, it becomes like when you see someone's face and you see someone's reactions and you see the live presence of that person there right in front of you, it kind of gives you sort of like what's the word for it? Like you bounce off each other. That's a nice word. You bounce off each other. What do you guys think about that? A good word, yeah. And I think online, what tends to happen, you're restricted. It's like, wa alaikum assalam, Hadiqa, ahla wa sahlan, mashallah. Good to see you, good to see you. I'm doing very well. How was it back being in school again? I want to move to Birmingham just so I can have more food options. Yeah, you need to come, You need to come there. Come down to Birmingham, bro. Just sacrifice. You'll probably end up gaining a few stones. Arsalan, ahla wa salam, alaikum assalam. Have you ever practiced MMA on your students? Yes, definitely. Yeah, some of my students who come training with me. So I used to try on them, just like give some kicks and some blows, punches. Ask Asufa if they could publish a course, how to open a madrasa and structure it well. That is one of my future aims, inshallah. Definitely. So at the moment, currently, if you remember, I think about a year ago, so I told you about we're coming out with a new syllabus. So slowly we are implementing that. That is something, inshallah, that's currently being implemented. Once that's fully done, inshallah, then we're gonna sort of present it to other madrasas and maybe other institutes as well, hopefully, inshallah. But because I'm part of that, but I'm not sort of like in charge of that. And it's more to do with the implementation of how Arabic should be taught from a studied perspective, from looking at it from a purely studied, how is language taught and what's the best way to teach the language, and at what stage should you introduce Nahu and Sarf, and how should the books Fiqh be taught, and how should all of these kind of things, the pedagogy. This is a very important thing which a lot of madrasas unfortunately fail in. Yeah, that's where a lot of them are really failing, because they're not really kind of optimizing the way a particular subject should be taught. And it's having an impact on the student, because the student's studying like 5 or 6 years and not really gaining the skills that you'd expect them to gain, if the course was laid out in a very sort of in a sniper kind of method. Yeah, if you kind of sniper everything is precise and everything has a function in the course and every way that you teach something. So yeah, that's what we're looking for, inshallah. And there's a lot more assignments, a lot more essay writing. There's a lot more sort of discussion, presentations, text reading as well. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. So yeah, inshallah, Arsalan, definitely. And Abdullah. زبير إخواني والأخ محمد أمين بخير والصحة والسلامة. الحمد لله وننتظر زيارتك في الإمارات بأقرب وقت ممكن إن شاء الله. إذا حصل لي فرصة إن شاء الله في المستقبل، إن شاء الله سوف آتي إن شاء الله وأزوركم هناك. وإلى الآن إلى الآن أنا لم أزور الإمارات. يعني نزلت في مطار الإمارات، لكن لم يعني أبقى هناك لم أبقي هناك يعني أيام، فإن شاء الله سوف أزوركم إن شاء الله، وإذا يعني زرنا إن شاء الله في المستقبل بريطانيا. أين أنا الكتاب؟ نعم 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 نعم. I need to make some more أين أنا. You guys are looking forward to those, aren't you? Those are like the highlights of your highlights of your week. Can you do a podcast talk on problems with the current madrasa system? Yeah, definitely. I think that would be a good thing to do. Definitely. Hopefully, once the podcast gets started again, because there's quite a lot of people that have written studies, have done studies, run PhDs or masters on like madrasa system or anything related to that Dars Nizami. And so hopefully, inshallah, so you know, we'll try to do something on that. But it's just like a very big problem, I think. Ali Sheikh, you should do a video on the nature of Allah, who is He, etc. Any good English interpretation of the Quran, which will give me a good idea, understanding of the nature of Allah. It's a good point. I mean, basically, you're asking a question regarding Aqidah, aren't you? So that would be more to do with theology, metaphysics, and understanding the idea. So this idea of trying to understand the nature of God, this has not really been an Islamic idea historically. It's been a foreign idea. But when the Muslims started spreading and these foreign ideas were presented to Muslims, they attempted to try to come out with their sort of like understanding of it. So I'm not too sure of who has written on this topic in English. There definitely are works out there, definitely 100%. But I'm not too sure in English what kind of works have been written on the topic. There's actually there's a guy who in Netherlands, I know him, Sheikh Yasin Mol. His name is Sheikh Yasin Mol. He's a revert, and he has done a lot on this. And there's also another revert. His name is Sheikh Sheikh Ramon Harvey. Yeah, Ibrahim Harvey. His name is Ramon Harvey. So check him out and he's done some works on Maturidi. I think it's the recent one that's going to come out, Transcendence, the nature of God or something on that lines. Yeah, check that out. Alhamdulillah, it's good being back at school. Okay, guys, I'm gonna have to mute Al-Haq Productions because this is causing too much confusion for me. So Al-Haq Productions and Muhammad Prairie, you two are gonna have to be muted for a while. Okay, you guys are on mute for a while. Have a rest. Okay. Okay. Al-Baruj Institute, Ahla wa Sahlan. Wa alaikum assalam. Sheikh, can a boy or girl marry without permission of guardian if he or she wants to protect his or her iman? Basically, they want to fornicate. So if someone, look at it this way, if someone is saying that they want to have a relationship, that already shows you that that relationship is based upon lust. And my advice would be that, look, if a guy is in love with a girl and a girl's in love with a guy and they want them together, talk it to the parents, speak to the parents, see what the parents are saying. And if they're not going to be happy, then there's always plenty of more fish in the sea, basically. So no, it wouldn't be permissible. Yeah. Yeah, because then this argument is based on the idea that, well, look, if you're not going to do it for me, if God's not going to do it for me, if the scholar's not going to do it for me, I'm just going to resort to fornication or something of that lines. Yeah, so it wouldn't be allowed. When you come back from studying abroad, what changes did you go through in your lifestyle, presentation, etc.? Would you recommend for students try and connect with their community? When I came back, I mean, because I was away for a very long time, 9 years, so a lot of things had changed. There was a lot of changes that took place. And I don't know, for me, it was when I came back, I quickly just got straight away into teaching. And so I was already kind of preoccupied in doing my own things. But definitely, as I've seen the years going by, very important to, number one, be in contact with the community, right? Be connection with the community, and also when you're in connection with community, you don't want to lose that sort of humanness to you as well. Like when you become a scholar, do not try to make yourself more than what you really are. Otherwise, what will happen is you're just going to distance yourself from the community, and the community won't be able to relate to you. They won't be able to see you as another human being, right? So, and that's one of the beautiful things about the Prophet ﷺ, which was he was seen in his community as someone that they could relate to. They could go to him, speak to him. They could see how he used to walk. They saw how he used to, speak with his family, how he used to, enjoy himself, and how he used to do different things. So this is something that's very important, I think, to understand. If you kind of cut yourself off from everyone, and if you give yourself this fake lifestyle, and you have to behave in this way and that, it's not good for the rest of the community. Yeah, I think that's one of the important things to remember. But yeah, otherwise, besides that, I mean, that's one of the things. The second thing I think I would really encourage people to do is to at least have some sort of a connection with some scholars. Yeah, having some connection with some scholars, that would be good as well. So you don't have to connect with all scholars around the UK or wherever country you're in, but have a connection with some scholars. Make sure that you know what's up to date, what's happening in the scholarly community, like kind of problems that the community is facing, because you might be living in a community and you're only seeing the local grassroots or issues. There might be like larger, bigger, overarching issues that you're not seeing, and other people give you an insight to that. Definitely. VS, wa alaikum assalam, ahla wa sahlan, welcome. Ali, Sheikh, story time. How did you get married? If you're comfortable sharing that, is inshallah one day I'll tell you guys. Yeah, because I went through loads of rishtas. Yeah, rishtas. You know what that means, rishtas, proposals to find. Yeah, but inshallah. Now I won't be, because now I want to kind of keep this session just a bit light. Yeah, I'm going to finish in a bit anyway. Khalid G, assalamu alaikum, ahla wa sahlan, marhaban. May Allah bless you and all you. Ameen, ameen, jazakallah khair. Yes, from New York. Shall I put my New York accent on? Do you think it's worth it? Nice sunny day today. It's a bit windy. It's been really windy these days. Oh, very windy. Extremely windy. Sufyan, why don't you create a second YouTube channel specifically for your vlogs, other lifestyle leisurely activities? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I've actually created one. I'm just gonna see how I'm gonna. Yeah, I might start, because you have to have a certain number of viewers, subscribers, then you can do other activities with it. But yeah, inshallah, I'm gonna start to do that, I think. Sorry, but before a bit carried away. Yeah, it was just blocking up all the comments. I mean, what you and Muhammad should do, you should maybe contact each other, email each other, give each other your numbers, and on WhatsApp talk with each other. That would be the best thing. So anyway, so that was my Friday, inshallah. Like I said, got the GoPro inshallah this week, and also Surah Rahman. So don't forget, guys, Surah Rahman. Yeah, Sunday, inshallah, it's going to be the second part of Surah Rahman. So hopefully, inshallah, you guys should be able to attend, inshallah. Podcast also today as well. So today we've got our podcast, which is at 10 o'clock, inshallah, UK time. And hopefully, inshallah, you guys should be able to listen in if you like listening into Arabic podcasts. And tomorrow, inshallah, live stream. Why was I blocked? Well, because you were having such a conversation with Al-Haqq Productions that it was disturbing my reading of the. So I said, if you want to have conversation with Al-Haqq, then give me your WhatsApp number, talk to each other, email each other. If we get a couple of thousands Oregon subscribers to help out the second channel and kick it start, yeah, that's a good idea. Definitely. Yeah, that's the way. Sufyan, you are the PR man. You are public relations. Someone asked about marriage in secret before. What about if they want to get married but the parents are not? If the parents are not accepting, that's it, isn't it? Parents are not accepting, and sometimes in life you just have to move on. Yeah, you got to find someone else. A lot of people think that, look, if I find someone, this person is going to be the ultimate person for me, the spouse for me. Not necessarily the case. Person might not be the person for you. You might think they're the person for you. You start living with them, you start having children with them, and then you realize, is this really the person I want to get married to? So I think a lot of people do get deceived into that. And unfortunately, with social media, I think a lot of people get into relationships with people thinking this is the right person for me because, you know, she has these posts or he has these posts and he looks like this and she looks like this. And I think that's what the thing is. Some people can't move on because they're in such love. Well, they can move on. I think this idea that people are in love and they're going to die if they don't, I think it's just a lot of people have just created this image, yeah, of this mentality. And I think that people need to be a bit more serious. And it's usually with, you know, people who are not really focused in life. You need to be focused in life. And inshallah, you know, by being focused, this is what I found. If you're focused in life, you can overcome all these other obstacles in life. You need to be more focused. And I mean, if a person's going to be chatting all day with their online girl or online boy all day, that shows they're not focused in life. That's not really something to focus yourself on. You need to have a proper, like, an aim or a goal in life. What do you want to do? And unfortunately, a lot of youngsters just have nothing to do, and they just end up in these online relationships. Ustad, do you have any tips to get a good reading habits regarding books? Something I struggle with. So what my advice is, Ali, my advice is, I mean, this is from my own experience. Have a subject, like speak to, for example, like someone like a mentor or something, if you got a teacher, and say, okay, give me a topic and start doing research on that topic. So for example, like one of the times that I really improved my research skills was when I had to write on the topic of evolution of fiqh. And I was writing this book called Evolution of Fiqh. And that really started to make me organize my time. So I learned how to read through different types of books. So what you have to understand is you don't read all books in the same manner. Some of the books you have to read thoroughly, like word for word, sentence for sentence. And some books you actually just skim through a lot of the pages because you're going to come across things which you're not really interested in. So you've got to get used to that habit. Don't read every book with the intention that you're going to cover it cover to cover. No, because you won't be able to. It's not really practical. So some of the books are just going to be there because you're looking for a certain chapter, or maybe you're just trying to find a certain reference in a particular book. Yeah, so that's what I would say. So I would say what to do is, number one is find yourself a topic. Start collecting books, or start collecting the names of books that you need to read on the topic, and just put pen to paper and start writing. Definitely. And show it to someone, show it to a mentor, show it to a teacher, so that you can sort of like be corrected as well. So if you're kind of like going off track, because sometimes that's what can happen in reading. You might be reading a book, and it happens to me. You're reading a book, and all of a sudden, you know, you find another interesting book, and you leave that old book, and then you start reading this new one, and then you're halfway through that one, you find another one, right? So you're kind of like, you're jumping, yeah, you're leapfrogging from one book to another book, and that's the benefit of having a mentor. Is the mentor will tell you, okay, you know what, stick to this topic, cover this, and then you can look into that. Is it worth getting the English version of Quduri? It would be good. Yeah, definitely. I think. I mean, over the years, my understanding, my sort of understanding of how people should learn fiqh is slightly changing. I've started to realize people need to read some English books in fiqh because the language is very important. So what tends to happen is people who study in madrasa and they only study Arabic books, they don't know the terms in real world. So like, for example, if you're studying buyu, transactions, and you come across musharaka, and you come across, let's say, khiyar al-aib, and you come across al-rahan, and these different like topics, and then when you kind of looking into the real world and you read books like Introduction to Islamic Finance by Mufti Taqi Usmani, or you read the translation of Sheikh Wahab al-Zuhairi's section on buyu, it's 2 volumes that you can get. I've got it at the back over there. Your eyes start to open up because you realize, oh, these are the terms that you're going to find in the real world. So if you were to read, for example, like retail law, real estate law, you begin to realize there are lots of terms in there which are mentioned in the books of fiqh, but the way they mention is slightly different. So that's something which I think is a good point. There's a really good copy of Quduri which is in English. It's in the form of question and answers. Yeah. That's a good. It's called. What is it called? Written by. It's in Urdu originally. It's translated. Forgot what it's called. Ustad, what do you think about the philosophy of Wahdat al-Wujud by Ibn Arabi? You can skip this question if you don't feel like answering it. I haven't really kind of looked into it too much, but Wahdat al-Wujud in the sense. The thing with Ibn Arabi is he's a very controversial figure because his writings were very cryptic. They were very cryptic writing. So it was like people who had accused him of being a disbeliever was because many say that they couldn't understand what he was saying in his text. They misread into his reading his texts. And others sort of like had a much more a deeper understanding of what he was saying. So I think that's the truth. But generally, Wahdatul Wujud, if Wahdatul Wujud, Wahda means ittihad, the oneness of existence. If we mean that Allah is the only thing, that Allah is everywhere, so pantheism, where you believe God is in everything, that's kufr. That is, we don't believe in that at all. But if a person was to believe that God is ittihad al-wujud, means that the only real existence that exists in reality is Allah's existence. Everything else is nothing compared to Allah. Then that meaning is a valid meaning. Just like if a person was to say the true knowledge is knowledge of Allah, what Allah knows, and everything else is just temporal, then that kind of a meaning wouldn't be far off. Anyway, guys, I'm going to finish there. So Jazakumullah khair. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. And like I said, check out the Surah Rahman this Sunday, inshallah ta'ala. And I will see you guys. Hopefully, I should do some bike riding as well for you guys. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.